Welcome to your Daily 5 for Tuesday, February 11th, 2025. You may remember that yesterday I said that I wasn't sure if I was going to review 1987's Sweets from a Stranger until I knew for sure that Lando could watch it. Well, in between recording that and today's 5, I did talk to Lando and he verified that he will watch it so that we'll be able to review it together. I don't know if we're going to necessarily watch it together like we did with Obsession, but he will have seen it. So we'll be able to talk from a common frame of reference because I am really interested in his reaction to this movie. So today I am going to review Sweets from a Stranger. Spoiler free, of course, because we're going to save all that for Friday because I think there's a lot to talk about in there. And as I said in the 5 yesterday, what I did not realize until I got into this film and read the actual box set was that these 3 movies, the Dagger Eyes, Obsession, and then today's film, were all meant to be subversions of the giallo genre. They were meant to incorporate the familiar elements, but then do something new with them. And I did not realize that when I bought the box set based on Dagger Eyes, then watched Obsession and was already planning to watch this movie, just not in this order. And so I went into this movie without that knowledge. And because I did not read the box set until probably halfway through this film, I actually stopped it and I read the box. And then I saw that that's what it said, because I went into this film based on the description and the cover art and the fact that the box set is called Forgotten Gialli. I thought that this was going to be the conventional movie of the 3. I thought, oh, okay, yeah, Dagger Eyes, that was, mostly a giallo, mostly a spy thriller, but there was a fair amount of giallo in it. Obsession seemed to be the wild card, and I thought, okay, the final film in the set is going to be the one that people will expect. No, wrong, completely wrong. This is absolutely not, at least in most of its setup and its execution, this is not the standard setup for a giallo. It does start off in the conventional way that almost all classic giallos do, where you have a victim and there is a gloved killer whose identity you don't know and who has a trademark kind of signature thing that's different about them, which the description gives it away, is a bicycle-riding, razor-wielding killer. And so in the first 10 minutes of the movie, it seems like it's going to be the standard approach to giallo, which I don't mind. I love the standard approach to giallos. But the way it sets you up, I think, is very, very clever, because then the movie starts doing things very differently. In that, in most of these films, especially characters who are typically women or female prostitutes, or prostitutes of any type, but typically female prostitutes, they generally don't have a lot of characterization. They are generally played as victims. Typically at the very beginning of the film, that'll be kind of where the killer starts, or maybe sort of his pattern. But you don't necessarily, in most cases, get to know them. And even if you do, they don't typically, at least to my experience, have a lot of depth to them. Well, this movie really turns that around, because you will get to know the victims in this film, or the intended victims in some cases, really well. You will actually, this movie's concept seems ripe for just base level exploitation. A group of prostitutes band together to try to stop a serial killer. Now that could easily be played for basically light exploitation entertainment with no depth to it, but this movie does not do that. It does something wildly different, to the point where I was misdirected on what the ending was. And I've seen a lot of these movies. I generally can call the killer by the halfway point, as most fans of giallos can. And this movie turned me around, because I kept thinking it was going to revert back to the standard way of doing things, and it really just never did, outside of the surface level stuff. And so I really, really enjoyed this movie. This is one of the better box sets I've gotten in a while. I think since that Apocalypse 4-film pack, like I said yesterday, I'm really impressed with this set, because you can, if you're a giallo fan, if you know these movies, all the things you expect are technically there, but the movies do such weird and interesting and different things with it that they really do stand out. Even though they all have flaws of some type or another, the inventiveness saves all these movies. So as long as you go into these with an open mind and you're willing to see some experimentation and a little bit of playing with the formula, then you're going to have a good time. So 1987 Sweets from a Stranger, another fantastic subversion of the giallo genre. It's a great movie. See it if you can. Later.